right, Josh. So, talk on pod. Talk right side, safe. Talk left side, safe. Talk middle. Sooner or later, get squish like grape. You remember that scene?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
We weren't expecting that straight off the gate.
No.
So that's the way the podcast is going to work today. So this movie came out in 84.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the year that, we won't remember this, but the Tigers beat the Padres in the World Series.
Nice.
And that was actually the last time that the Tigers won the World Series.
But Tony Gwynn's rookie season.
Was it?
Yeah. 83. That was his second year.
Okay. So you were born 82.
82.
I was born 83. So we were babes when this movie came out. But so this came out June 22nd, 84. $8 million budget. Made $130 million worldwide.
Didn't realize.
Yeah. So I mean, it definitely, like, if you take the percentage of how much they spent on it and then how much they actually made, they crushed it with this movie.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. But listen, you will love. I've been saving this. So anybody listening, welcome to the movie pick. Dave's here. Got Josh here. Josh, thank you for joining me.
No.
But the top 5 in 84, I have not told you this, and I hope you didn't look it up. So the top 5 in 1984 as far as grossing movies. You'll love these. Police Academy was number 5. Number 4 was Karate Kid. So it did really good. Number 3, and these are all movies that, like, I would watch any of these right now. Like, right after we finish this, if you wanted to watch one, I would watch one. So 5 was Police Academy. 4 was Karate Kid. 3 was what's become like a Christmas classic for us, Gremlins. 2 was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And then number 1, we talked about this movie just a few minutes ago, Ghostbusters.
Was it?
Yes.
Huh. I didn't realize it was the same year.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So but I mean, listen to that top 5 though.
No kidding.
Ghostbusters, Indiana Jones 2, Gremlins, Karate Kid, and Police Academy.
Yep.
Like 84, and I'll tell you how awesome 84 was. This was the one, like, when I was looking at all of the top movies from that year, the number 21 movie was The Terminator.
Well, I was going to say, I figured Terminator was going to be in the top 5.
I would have thought 100% like it was number 1.
Yeah.
Because of what it's become.
I was waiting to hear Terminator in that list. But
So it was one that had to grow, because they didn't make the second one until like 92.
Yep.
And so it had to grow like over time. Like, I'm sure when it came out, it obviously wasn't that big of a hit because it was number 21. Unless it came out like in December and just made, but I don't think they calculate it that way. But this movie, when you count this one, when you count Karate Kid, you know how many Karate Kid movies we ended up with total? Like total.
We're talking reboots, remakes, all that.
Everything.
The Pat Morita, there was 3?
4 with Morita. Because remember, you got to remember the Swank edition.
Well, that's what the next Karate Kid was the one I was thinking. So it was, 6?
Yes, that's exactly right. So we had the 4 with Pat Morita, which 3 were with Daniel San, 1 with, I don't remember Hillary. I saw that one once, like on HBO, like a day after school, the Hillary Swank one, and that was enough.
I used to like it. Hillary Swank.
Yeah, sure, fair enough. But then there was the Jaden Smith one, which it was fine, and I think when it first came out, they intended it more as a remake, not like a
continuation.
Yes, and then they kind of retconned that with this newest one, which I have not seen. It's called Legends, I think.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I'll watch it because it's got Daniel in it.
Yeah.
Like that's the main reason I'll watch it. And I think Johnny even shows up in it. Spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen that one yet. But what were your first memories of this movie?
Well, I had a VHS recording that came from TV, and I watched it every day. I was homeschooled, so I watched it pretty much every day. I wanted my hair fixed for church, just like Daniel's. I remember that well, but my first memories was, my favorite memory was when he was dressed as the Shower.
Yeah. The shower.
The Shower, that brings back a lot of memories.
Yeah. Yeah, the shower, and we'll get to that as far as the shower scene. I think my first memories, obviously neither one of us saw this in theaters. You were 2, I was 1. But my first memories were, you know, our family friend, the Wilsons. I remember watching it over at their house, and their sons loved that movie. And anything that they did I thought was cool. So since they liked it, I wanted to watch it, and obviously fell in love with it. You know, I mean, would walk around, you know, acting like I could do the crane and all that kind of stuff. So one thing that I like to look up, the IMDb rating on this movie. I always like to see like what, because that's us, like that's user reviews. So the IMDb on this is 7.3. Do you think it should be higher than that? You think it should be lower than that? You think they kind of got it exactly right?
I would put it higher just because it was a coming of age movie for any kid born in the 80s.
Yeah.
And there's so many of us, but that's probably right.
Yeah.
It's probably right because kids today watching it, it would be foreign to them, I guess. I guess you would say.
Yeah, I mean, I never know, because I do make my kids watch like movies like this. Like I love the older movies, and so I will make them watch these. But I don't know if other parents make their kids watch like Karate Kid and some of the old movies.
I was trying to get my kids. We were watching Man of Steel the other day, and I wanted them to watch the old Christopher Reeves.
Ooh, tough watch now.
Could not get into it.
It's a tough one.
I can still watch it, of course, because I love that stuff.
Yeah.
But for younger kids, they're just not CGI enough.
Well, and to that point, like Jared loved the Christopher Nolan trilogy. We tried to watch like the Michael Keatons, and he was fine. Like they were fine.
Yeah.
But he would sit there and he could watch Dark Knight right now, return to it and watch it over and over and over again. Unless I turn it on, he's never going to turn on Batman.
Yeah.
You know, like the 89 Keaton. Yeah. He's just not going to do it.
And if I have my choice, I'm going to choose the 89. Not so much the Penguin, but the first one, I still like it. It's still
I love
my
it.
favorite.
I love it. I don't know. And that'll be a very stiff competition one day to talk about the Heath Ledger versus Jack Nicholson debate because...
A good debate. That should be
great debate. Yeah. No, that's saved for when the pod has been mastered.
Yeah.
Like there's certain movies that fall into this echelon, like Back to the Future is one of them. Like you'll know that I actually feel like, okay, I've got this rhythm down and it's where I want it to be. Once we do Back to the Future, that's the day you'll know when I'm like, hey, are you ready to do Back to the Future? That's okay. He's got it down. But so the director of this, I didn't know anything about this guy, and I think it's pronounced John. I know it's John, but Avildsen. It's Avild. Never heard of this guy. He did the first Rocky.
What?
Yes.
No way.
So now when you watch this and you watch like Rock, I mean, you can see.
Yeah, it's going to change things.
And there's even a Survivor song in this movie. But so when you watch the first Rocky and you watch this, I mean, there's definite correlations. Like this is the high school version of Rocky.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And now that you know that, you can't unknow it.
Yeah.
But listen to this. So he directed 1, 2, and 3 of Karate Kid, which they significantly got worse as they went on.
So the same director did all 3?
Yeah, he did. Okay. He did the first 3, yeah. And he did Rocky 1, which is obviously an awesome movie. But then he came back and he did Rocky 5, which is by far.
I know. I still like Rocky 5.
Yes, you can like it. You and that one other guy that would watch it again. It. Yeah, when they show it like on USA reruns, there's like 2 people that watch it. There's you and some other guy because what was it, the Tommy Gunn? Yeah. But he also did. I've never seen this one. 8 Seconds.
Oh, you've not seen?
I've never seen 8 Seconds. Yeah, I know. If y'all could see the look he's giving me right now, it's definitely on my list. It's actually been Beaver also recommended it to me.
Way you've never seen 8 Seconds.
I'm a little embarrassed now that I haven't seen it because I've had so many people look at me like that when I say I haven't seen it. So it's on my list, especially after doing this movie. 8 Seconds is on my list. But so that's a little bit about the director, and then obviously we've got Ralph Macchio. You know, he's playing Daniel, and the 80s were by far his peak.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So he did the Karate Kid movies. He did The Outsiders before this.
Crossroads, amazing movie.
There you go. But then by 92, Like if you look at his career and you look at the movie, by 92 he was the supporting character in My Cousin Vinny.
Yep.
And barely in the movie. Like he was maybe in that movie 15, 20 and barely featured. So by then his star was big time faded.
His looks and charisma just really didn't translate to adulthood.
They didn't. He was an adult in this. He was like 45 in this. I mean, he wasn't that, but he was like 22. Yeah, he was 22.
Yeah. So he just, even now in his 60s, he looks
fantastic.
He does.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah,
but he's still hard to pull off an adult role, even in Cobra Kai, which I love the show. He's still hard. He's still that 80s kid.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He is, and so it's funny. Like we'll get to this later because I do want to talk about him a little more in depth. Pat Morita. So I didn't know he didn't have a Japanese accent.
None. Yeah.
I thought that was
in Taxi, right?
Yeah, no, he was on. He might have been on Taxi. I know he's on Happy Days.
Yeah, Happy Days.
He had a big part in Happy Days. He was a stand-up comedian.
Was he?
Yes. Which I've watched like this week. I've been YouTubing and like watching his stand-up stuff. He's really funny. But so no Japanese accent. He was only 52 in this movie.
No.
Let that sink in for a second. Like when they talk about the old man and they talk, like all the stuff. And how I viewed him as a kid was he was like 90, stroking the long beard, that just hangs, like he was
the Kung
that
Fu
guy.
Master.
Yes. So he was nominated for an Oscar for this movie.
For Karate Kid?
Yes.
No.
Yes. He lost, which was weird because he had gone from like the Happy Days comedian to this. And
well,
he got nominated.
Was a phenomenal role that he was in. I mean, he played the part better than, it was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and the drunk scene, like when he's drunk, he's talking about his wife, and
that's what comes to mind.
Yeah, that's. I mean, and that was like, if anybody needs an acting class, that's one you can go to and watch that scene because he does an amazing job in that. Now we get to Elizabeth Shue, as Allie, which was a crush for every one of us as kids.
And adults. I mean, even most of her career, she was always a beautiful woman.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Features and Babysitting, though. That was my...
I had that.
Okay.
Yeah. And so she did, like, she became Marty McFly's girlfriend in 2 and 3. She came in and replaced...
Yeah.
I can't remember the other actress's name. I want to say it's not Jennifer. Jennifer was the character's name. But she came in and replaced the first actress from Back to the Future. But then, she did Hollow Man. Remember that one? Yep. Kevin Bacon. The Saint. Leaving Las Vegas was one of her biggest roles.
And one of the best movies.
Yeah. Cocktail. The one with Tom Cruise. So she, out of the actors, like if you list out the actors in this movie, she had the most successful, I would say, career out of all of them. As far as biggest movies, made the most money movies, like those kind of things. And also just like prestige movies like Leaving Las Vegas.
For sure.
And then we get to William Zabka as Johnny. And this was his first movie.
This was
his first movie.
He had just one of the guys that it must have came after it, but it was the same era.
Yes, yeah. And so this poor guy, he got typecast as like the 80s jerk. Everything he was in. Like I listed out just one of the guys. Great movie. Boyfriend. He was the boyfriend in European Vacation. Yep. That Audrey was obsessed over, and he ended up like breaking up with her over the phone. He was in Back to School, the one with Rodney Dangerfield. He was a jerk in that. He showed up in Karate Kid 2 for a few minutes. And his career, like if you look at his career, really died down after the 80s. Like it was really quickly died down, and really Cobra Kai is what put him back in the mainstream. And we'll get to that. Obviously, we'll talk about Cobra Kai a little bit. Yeah. But some interesting things about the movie are like little bitty things that I noticed in the movie. So the car was a 47 Ford Super Deluxe convertible. Mm-hmm. And I have to almost like beg forgiveness when it comes to like talking about 80s cars and which ones I would want from movies, because I never include that one. Like I'll think about the Batmobile. I'll think about like the.
You're talking about the gift that Miyagi gave.
Yes, the yellow, yellow one.
That car was probably, there was many other cars there to choose from. I don't know why he picked that one, but it is an iconic car.
It is, and that's why I would want that one. Like if I pulled up somewhere and they knew I was in that, But like I always think of like the DeLorean and the Ecto-1, like the Ghostbusters car and the Batmobile and all that. Like when I'm thinking of which cars would make my all movie tournament. And, I always forget about the Karate Kid car. But then when I see it, I'm like, oh, man, that would be cool to have. Like, I think I would just constantly be outside, wax on, wax off.
Yep.
But this movie, but one nice thing about the car, so they actually gifted it to Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, I actually saw that watching the Cobra Kai. When Cobra Kai, the first season came out, I was doing not research, but I was just looking into the cast and everything and saw that he had been gifted that from the producers. Didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
And it shows back up in Cobra Kai. So yeah, it was really cool. But this movie, and I'm sure you were this way. I know me and Tia have talked about this. This is a see it and want to be it movie.
For sure. When I took karate, I had the headband.
I didn't know you took karate.
Oh, yes.
Oh, this is great.
Because of Karate Kid, I had his headband. I had everything he had in the movie. I wore to my karate class for 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
You know when we were texting about like what movie do you want to do, and we were going back and forth. I knew in my mind, like Josh is a huge Karate Kid fan. Like I knew that
for sure.
But it just got proved to me even more just then. The fact that you wore everything because I mean this was like I remember watching like Mighty Ducks. And I wanted to rollerblade like they could. Like just go into a mall and start rollerblading with all my friends or something. Or like The Sandlot. When I would watch it, I wanted to, have a group of friends I could just go play baseball with, like in the neighborhood or something. And this was that type of movie where you watch it and you just want to be in that world. It's like, man, I want to show up at this All Valley tournament and I want to crane kick people. But yeah, so I wanted to know karate, but you learned karate.
And still have the headband. Too.
Nice. So one thing that was, like he moved. So in the movie, they moved from New Jersey to California, which I've always thought like that had to be a really good job that the mom got offered. Because that's
across the country.
I mean, it could not be
to the next.
Yes, it could not be further. She went straight from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Like nowhere in the middle of the country did they offer jobs on the computers. It was one coast to the next. But one thing for me, and we kind of talked about this, and you didn't know I would bring this up. But one thing for me was, I went from kindergarten to my senior year, all in the same school system. Mm-hmm. Like we merged in middle school, so that was meeting some new kids and stuff. But I still had all the 90 or 100 kids that I went to elementary school with join us on that. But you were homeschooled until
through 8th grade.
Yeah.
And that's how I got Karate Kid fever, because every day after school we would watch the Karate Kid. Me and my cousin would go out and karate each other.
But you had to feel some of the same feelings that he felt, because he joined a new school system, and so you did that like in your freshman year, I think.
Yep.
So you went to Lakeview first, and then went
to Lafayette.
Yeah, so you were feeling a lot of the same things that he felt, I'm sure. But I don't know if you noticed this. Their school lunch, did you notice the price of their school lunch?
No, I didn't.
$2.50. Huh. And you know what's crazy about that? That's expensive.
Yeah, because mine was $1.70 when we.
Yes. And so I did. I went into this like inflation calculator thing. So the inflation on that would be a $7.55 lunch now. That'd be like going and getting your school lunch, the cafeteria, and it was less because he paid for his and Allie's, when they got lunch in that scene. But it would cost, what was it, $7.55 now, but his was $2.50. Hers added like another $1.25. I don't know if it's because he got dessert and she didn't. Like, I don't know what added the price to it, but that was, even when they said it, I was like, that's a super expensive school lunch for 1984.
Unless California's just always been more expensive than the rest of the country.
Yeah, which could be. It could, that very well could be it. So I didn't know, like, I remember watching this as a kid. I always thought that Son, like, the Daniel Son, was just his name. Like, I thought his name was Daniel Son. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know this. Apparently that's like, do you know what Son means?
No.
Yeah, it's basically like a Mr. or Mrs. Like, it's just a sign of respect. So him saying is almost like him saying, Mr. Frodo. Yeah, but it's pretty much like that. Like, where he says Mr. Miyagi, he's basically saying, Mr. Daniel, but just, using the Japanese version of it. Did you notice the Happy Gilmore grandmother?
Yet. Let's talk about that one because I do, but I'm having a hard time remembering where it was at.
So it's the very beginning of the movie. She is, when he first gets there, and the guy with the very obscene pig shirt, when he first gets there, he's introducing him, and he walks by and he pets the dog.
Yeah,
I didn't notice my third time watching through. Jared wasn't even looking at the movie, and he looked up. He was like, "Oh, that's Happy Gilmore's grandmother." Like he just heard her by the voice, and I just never put it together because she looked the same age.
She always did look the same age. Yeah,
like she looked exactly the same. If you go and watch that, and you go and watch Happy Gilmore, she did not age.
Same person, the same age. Yep.
She had the Wilford Brimley aging. But so golf and stuff, their first date.
Mm-hmm.
So Allie and Daniel's first, you can still visit that place.
Wow.
I went to the website, and it's in Norwalk, California. And it's if I'm ever in that general area, I'm going.
100%.
Yes. And so I saw a video of a guy, like I found it on TikTok or something. And there's a video of this guy that visited, and he was going around and asking people, like, hey, do you know what movie was filmed here? And about half of the people knew. But it was, again, we were talking about kids not what. It was kind of disappointing that only half of the people knew. Because that would be the main reason I would go.
That would be the only reason.
Yeah.
Which I love arcades. I'm just glad it's still there.
Oh, I love arcades. So they have a poster of the movie inside, like when you go in. And like I said, if you go to their website, they have like Karate Kid pictures, like under their history section. But they went back to it. You remember that in Cobra Kai season 1?
Yeah.
They returned back to it. So they were able to use this.
I assumed that was a different, I just thought that was a set. Didn't even register to me.
I know. Yeah, it's really cool. And pretty much all of the stuff is set up generally the same. Like there's even like there's a scene where they're playing putt-putt, and the little castle thing that's kind of in the background, it's still there.
Nice.
So like if you visit it, you would easily be able to take pictures. Like when we went to San Francisco, we went to the Ant-Man house, and somebody lives there. But we went to the Ant-Man house, like have a picture of us standing in front of this place. If I look closer, maybe somebody looking behind, like with a cup of coffee or something. But you'd be able to go there and like recreate those things, which would be fun. So were you a How I Met Your Mother fan?
I never did get into it.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't want to.
It's hilarious.
It's a different time in life. And I just didn't.
Yeah. No, it was a hilarious show. And they reference Karate Kid a lot on that show. And one of the characters, played by Neil Patrick Harris, his name was Barney, he very much referenced and talked about how Daniel was the bad guy and Johnny was the good guy. And Johnny was the hero. And you sent me a video about that. Do you remember any of the reasons why they were saying that Daniel was the villain, Johnny was the hero?
Well, because if not for the beach, I think the beach scene was the first interaction he had with Johnny. And Johnny was kind of being belligerent with his girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend, but wasn't being violent. He was just being a little chauvinistic. But Daniel inserted himself in there. Johnny never threw the first punch. Daniel did all that.
He was actually tripping him like out of mercy, it looked like.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, he kept trying to attack Johnny, and Johnny just kept sweeping the legs, keep him from hitting him, and finally he just had to do it because he sucker punched Johnny. He came up from the ground and sucker punched him.
Well, and I loved his stance. Like when he was like sticking out his hand like he wanted to shake it, like, "Hey man, we're even."
But yeah, no. Looking back, you could make a case either way on that.
Well, I was not Daniel was never somebody I wanted to hang out with. Like every time I watch the movie, he comes across, especially in the first hour and a half, he comes across very obnoxious. And I've never really understood what Allie saw in him. If I'm just being honest with you. So I was talking to Shannon last night that we were doing this movie. And she was telling me, and so she was born in 70, I think.
Elizabeth you?
No. Shannon, my mother-in-law.
Okay.
So I was talking to her, and I was telling her what movie we were doing. So she would have been 14 when this came out.
Okay.
So even though we were at a good age to grow up with this, she was at the prime age, right, for this movie. And she was like, "Oh, Ralph Macchio." I'm like, what? I didn't. And not that I think he's a bad-looking guy. It's more the character of Daniel that I thought was unappealing.
Very immature.
Yes. He was very immature, which that was also part of his journey. From the beginning of the movie, like he was he was afraid. He acted out. He acted defensive and all that stuff. And he really changed. Like he found his inner balance. By the end of it.
Yeah.
And so he was a much different. When you watch the second and third, and especially when you watch like Cobra Kai, he's a much different character. And so I could see the appeal more then. But in this one, I'm like, Allie, what? Like what? Why are we after this guy?
Yeah, Johnny was definitely the heartthrob, or should have been.
Maybe in the jorts though.
Yeah.
The jorts he wore on the beach. We're rocking. I forgot to mention this though, but going back to the lunchroom. So I love to look for like little things that are kind of dated in time. Did you notice the old Doritos bag in the lunchroom?
I didn't know.
Oh man. So went on a little bit of a deep dive on Doritos. So I didn't realize they started in the 60s. And they were like the first tortilla chip available nationally in the U.S.
Really?
Which was really cool. Because, when they first started, they weren't like the nacho cheese and Cool Ranch and all that stuff. Which, that is according to Wikipedia, which as Michael Scott would tell you, it means it has to be true. But the logo that's on, that's what I always love is seeing like the old logos and stuff. I didn't realize that it was the 4th of 10 logos that Doritos has used.
10?
That's what... Like when I looked it up, I was like, "You've got to be kidding." I didn't realize they've had 10 logos, and so they had 10 different logos. Had no idea they'd been around that long either. Like for some reason, to me, they started when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like I truly thought that.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember them being
I
around.
still thought that until you just said that. I thought it was a.
I kind of don't believe Wikipedia. Yeah. But kind of sticking with the food theme. Remember the scene when Johnny and Allie are dancing at the country club. And Daniel's waiting for her for the date. And he's like peering in on them from the kitchen. And then, Johnny sees him and, Johnny starts like making out with that or trying to make out with Allie just to make Daniel jealous and all that stuff. One thing that always bothers me is when he falls over and the guy spills the spaghetti. I don't think that many people would laugh at him like that. Like that was just cold. I mean, they were laughing like they were at a Gallagher show or something. Like look. I mean, it was almost like heartless how they were laughing at him. Like I was like, okay, maybe Johnny laughs and maybe his buddies laugh, but
not the whole country.
Not adults.
They were probably trying to make the upper echelon elite people just being looking down on the poor kids.
Yes, from Reseda.
That was completely.
It was uncalled for. Like I was like, you're adults. You should act like adults. Feel bad for this kid.
Help the kid.
Yes, get him a napkin or a paper towel or something. So another thing I wondered was, the Miyagi healing. When he puts his hands together and he rubs it, he touches the shoulder and the leg later on. So it's a real thing.
Well, it don't work for me. I still try it. I've never had it work.
So I looked it up, and it's supposed to generate heat, by rubbing the hands together, and it's similar to cupping. People do the cupping stuff, and temporarily soothes pain, but he's still limping when he does it, with the leg. But every time I see it, I wonder how many trainers right after this movie came out. Like how many trainers, like at a karate tournament, or like if their kids playing baseball and they get hurt, how many of them were like, okay, I'll try the Miyagi thing. Like maybe they don't say that out loud.
Well, again, I've tried it. I'm sure many have tried it.
I'm sure. I'm sure. But another thing I noticed that was very 80s-esque. So did you notice his driver's license when, Miyagi was asking him, did you get your driver's license today?
I don't remember looking at him, but I remember the scene.
Piece of paper.
Was it?
Yes. So this was before, like I asked my mom about that. I was like, so did they do like paper licenses? She's like, oh yeah, they were a piece of paper then. Huh. So it wasn't until the 80s, like this would have been around the time when they were changing over to like, the only license you've had and that I've ever had is plastic.
Right.
But what they did with this was that they actually had paper ones. But before the plastic ones, they were paper. I just thought that was interesting.
It is.
But, we talked about the jorts a little bit. So some of the things that I noticed about Daniel that would not have appealed to me if I'm Allie. Like I just listed out a few things to me. He was kind of rude. He was defensive. Like when she said that about, like when her friends pulled up and he was in his mom's car and all that. And they were, hey, Miss LaRusso, I love your car, whatever. And he's like, you could have gone with him. I don't even care. I'm like, dude, she's staying with you. Just accept it. He was a bad dresser. Like there was one scene he's wearing like camo pants with a plaid shirt. Like camo pants are fine. But you don't throw on your plaid
Right.
button up with that. He kicked the curb on her house enough to break it. Like they literally broke it. So that was one of the things I noticed about him. And he also looked like a terrible kisser. Like he very much gave her like a Dumb and Dumber kiss. Like during the scene when he comes back and they're making up. I would bet that it was a rebellious phase. Like she was rebelling against her parents.
Because if I was Allie's parents, I would say you need to go for Johnny. Any day.
100%.
Any day.
Well, and we learn later on in the second movie, which I didn't watch the whole second because I don't like to accidentally like mix in my movies. But we did learn in the second one that she ends up, with a quarterback or some football player. So just thought that was interesting. So listen to some of these Miyagi life lessons though. Like Miyagi definitely gives some things we can live from. So never put passion before principle, even if you win or lose. Like that can be coached on anything. Yeah. Sure. Here's another one. It's okay to lose to an opponent. A person must not lose to fear. And that's one of the things like I've tried to tell Jared and Evie that, okay, it's okay to be afraid. It doesn't make you not brave.
Don't let the fear control your decisions.
Right. Because so if you're afraid to get up and speak in front of people, but you still do it, that's bravery. Bravery is not when you feel okay doing it. Right. Bravery is when you do it even though you don't want to. So I just thought that was a great one. And then, the one that he says to him right when he gives him the car and everything, lesson, not just karate only, lesson for whole life. Whole life have a balance, everything be better. Mm-hmm. And he cuts out a lot of synonyms that need to be there. But, but when you think about that whole, and that's the thing for us, like when our lives have a balance, everything is better. Like when our spiritual life's in place, when we're, when our physical life, as far as exercise, all those things, so Miyagi gives some like good knowledge that can be applied in a Sunday school lesson if you want it to be. But now we're going to get to the competitions within the movie. So this is for this one, we're going to call it the All Valley Karate Tournament instead of just competitions in the movie. So you tell me if you have any best souvenir from the movie. What would you most like to have from this movie?
I guess the J.C. Penney belt. You remember the
$3.99?
The $3.99 J.C. Penney belt.
Think about that. That's awesome. Any others that you thought of?
The trophy. The trophy would be cool.
See, this is what I love about doing this. I didn't have either one of those on my list. So you've got the trophy, you got the J.C. Penney belt, $3.99. Yeah. Any others that you can think of?
Not off the top of my. I probably will when you start.
Yeah, the chopsticks. I would love to have the chopsticks
the fly. Okay.
Yeah. Anything.
I
from
thought
the movie.
We were just talking about the tournament. Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. Not just the tournament. Anything within the movie that you could take home with you and keep forever.
The shower costume or Johnny and his gang's skeleton costume.
Those are cool. Those are very cool. Those are very cool. We'll get to those. Save that thought. So we've got the trophy. You've got the $3.99 belt. We've got the chopsticks. I put Allie's radio. Would be a cool souvenir. Like, oh man, look at that. Where'd you get that radio? This was Allie's.
Yep.
I got it from her on the beach. Johnny's red jacket.
Oh, Johnny's red jacket. Even Johnny's headband. That was a cool one.
Yeah, it was. The Miyagi. Tell me if I'm saying this right. Gi.
Yep.
So the Miyagi gi or the headband, like either one, like the Miyagi, and I think that would kind of come together. But the Miyagi gi or the headband. The bonsai tree?
For sure, the bonsai.
I mean, there's so many good things that, like, if you had a room of movie memorabilia, there's so many cool things to take from this movie.
And do you know, speaking of the bonsai trees, that he wasn't actually pruning?
No.
They had so many takes that they were going to destroy the trees, so he just looked like he was pruning the trees. Yeah.
Those are fun. It's like when people eat in movies, like if you watch them, I heard this thing, I've never watched the show, but have you ever seen Blue Bloods with Tom Selleck?
No, my father-in-law loved it.
My parents love it. Yeah. So in Blue Bloods, like apparently one of the big things that they do is like this dinner scene. Like in just about every single episode, they have a dinner scene where everybody's sitting around the table and they're talking and eating and all that stuff. And most of the actors will not even if you watch them, they're just moving the food around with a fork. because they know if you take a bite in this take,
Yeah.
you have to take a bite in the next take.
Right.
And apparently most of them do that, but Donnie Wahlberg, who's on the show, he would actually take a bite, but he's a spit guy. So he'd have a spit bucket, which is totally gross.
Yeah, it is.
But it's interesting to think about, like, how they do food and all those things, like you're talking about with the pruning in the movies. But so that's a good one. Obviously, the bonsai tree. I don't know if you noticed this, the Pillsbury Doughboy cookie jar. Did you notice that in the movie?
No.
So if you watch it again, I can't remember what scene it's in, but we grew up on the Pillsbury, the
Cutest little thing.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a cookie jar though. That's the Pillsbury Doughboy, and it's in the mom's kitchen. And then this one I would not want, but I just had to mention it. The creepy clown that the mom gets out of the box.
Yeah. No.
It's like sitting up on the shelf. No, we do have a little, I'll show it to you after we finish it. We do have a little clown that's like this tall, like we do. And we will hide it from each other. Like I'll put it in Jared's shorts. Somebody puts on his shorts, the clown, and then it's because of that. So even though I say I wouldn't want it, but man, that is, if you could only pick one, that is a stiff competition of movie memorabilia. Yep. What do you know what yours would be? Because I do know what mine would be.
My overall?
Yeah, like the one, if you could only have one.
Probably Mr. Miyagi's war medals and the documents.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That would probably be the one I would pick.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm taking the chopsticks. I would love, because everybody remembers that scene, when he's trying to.
Mr. Miyagi getting mad because Daniel actually caught
get her luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're going to go back to one of the things that you mentioned. So we paused it and we counted up like 40 Halloween costumes when we were watching this, during the dance scene. But best Halloween costume from this movie. And so you mentioned the skeletons. You mentioned the shower that Daniel dressed as. Now this one, I think every kid did this or knows a kid that did this one. The zombie football player.
Yeah.
Like everybody knew one that was either a zombie. What are you? I'm a dead baseball player. Like it was like every kid's go-to. Like because they already had their uniform.
Yeah.
And they would just throw it on and then mom would pack
the Beetlejuice zombie players.
Yes. The chicken that actually threw eggs. I put him in the finals. And then this one only because it made me think of being a kid so much. The Spider-Man that had his tennis shoes on. So he's in the bathroom, like when Daniel puts the water and he pours it on Johnny.
Bully and Johnny.
Yes, yeah, Bully and Johnny. Yeah. Another Daniel moment. Johnny was doing drugs though, so
yeah, but he was minding his own business.
He sure was. He was lost in his headphones. But when Daniel goes running out, there's a Spider-Man there, and the reason it made me think of my childhood so much because I remember this as a kid. You would get this Halloween costume. And you would put it on, and you would feel so cool. But then you still had on your normal shoes. Like you'd be wearing your normal Nikes or your normal whatever. And it's like, man, I'm Batman except for these shoes.
The Avias.
Yes, I mean, it was like, this whole thing looks great except for these kicks. So that's why I had to put that one in there because I noticed the guy wearing the tennis shoes. But so going back to them, your pick, either the Cobra Kai skeletons, or unless you have another one. The Cobra Kai skeletons, Daniel's shower, the zombie football player, the chicken throwing eggs, or the Spider-Man with tennis shoes.
Well, my favorite is I love Johnny's.
Yeah,
I would if I could. I don't know. My favorite's still the shower, only because Mr. Miyagi made it for Daniel. It's specifically mentioned,
right.
But it shows in his.
I never noticed it in the background.
It shows that he had the material in his workshop, so he had made it for Daniel.
Yes. Because Daniel said, I wish I could go there invisible or something like that. Yeah, I mean, what a guy.
Yeah, Mr. Miyagi was a great man.
Everybody needs a Miyagi.
Yeah.
But so yours will be the shower.
Yeah.
Mine would, I mean, even though they're the bad guys, those skeleton costumes look so cool. Like their makeup looks so cool. And it actually, like we talk about the tennis shoes, the Converse they were wearing actually looks cool with it. So the whole thing there just
well, I dressed up for Halloween as that one time.
Did you really?
I didn't have I had my face painted, but I just had to wear black blue jeans and a black sweater.
With your tennis shoes.
With tennis shoes, yeah. But my face paint looked similar.
All right. So, cheesiest moment. Or actually, it's like cheesiest bullying moment. Because I have two that I really like as far as cheesy bully moments. But do you have any that you can think of off the top of your head?
Yeah, when Miyagi and Daniel goes to the Cobra Kai gym and they agree to the tournament, the All Valley tournament, but until then, they couldn't pick on Daniel or fight Daniel. Yeah. And then Daniel was basically bullying them in front of Allie.
Taunting them.
them.
Yeah. You got the teacher involved and all the stuff. Yeah.
He and Johnny and his crew kind of rose above it and just like, okay, we'll get you at the tournament. Yeah.
Well, and so remember the guys at Miyagi's car that were drinking, like they had their beer bottles?
At the end?
Not at the end. Okay. They had their beer bottle. It was when they were at the beach.
Okay, yeah.
So when Miyagi was, they were doing the balance, like with the ocean and all that stuff. And Miyagi, they're standing there at his car. They've got the beer bottles on the car. And the guy said something to Miyagi, I don't remember. But then he makes a face. He made like a 5-year-old's face. He was like, he did like that. Do you remember that at all?
Yeah.
And like that moment, I was like, dude. Yeah, we talked earlier a little bit about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock and like instant regret. Like that's one of those moments where you do that and it's like instant regret.
Yeah, that should have been on the cutting room floor and left there.
I'm glad it made it in just for us to talk about. So but like, you know, those instant regret moments are like when you go through the drive-through anywhere and they say have a good day, and you know, or they say, you know, enjoy your meal. You're like, you too, you know. Say, oh, they didn't say. Like, but it was an instant regret moment. Had to be for that guy. So that guy's face that he makes, or the worst line of the movie, like the worst moment to me when a guy is trying to put down Daniel, is when he yells to him when he's going with Allie, is this must be take a worm for a walk week.
I don't remember. It's not striking.
It's one of Johnny's lackeys.
Yeah.
But I cannot imagine anyone ever saying that in the cool group. You know, must be take a worm for a walk week. I mean, that's how the guy says it. And that one for me is by far and away the winner. Because that guy thought he had a winning line.
Yeah.
Like, at least the other guy was probably a little inebriated.
Yeah.
You know, he had a few. But this guy's, you know, like, I can't imagine actually saying to somebody and trying to put them down with take a worm for a walk week. Yeah. So kind of sticking with those guys, though. If you had to go on a road trip, which we've done a good road trip. If you had to go on a road trip with anyone from Cobra Kai, that's the parameters. Guys you'd least like to road trip with. So there's obviously Johnny. There's the take a worm for a walk week guy. Or the bleach blonde guy that was obviously on steroids.
Yeah, he was the coolest looking one of all of them.
He was the coolest looking, but he was obviously roided out.
17-year-olds don't look like bodybuilder.
No, and
8-year-olds.
And he was way too amped up too. Like he was very amped up the entire time. Yeah. So if you had to go on a road trip and you know, like I'm driving to Ohio and back tonight, and you're with one of those guys, who would it be?
That I would want to go?
No, that you'd be stuck with.
With? Well,
like the least, I said that backwards. I'm sorry. The guys you'd least want to be stuck with in a car. Like if we're let's say we're going from New Jersey to California.
Yeah,
you know, just like
the bleach blonde, because I would be afraid he would try to instigate fights at red lights.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Which is actually what killed me. You know, we talked about Cobra Kai just a little bit. What killed me with Cobra Kai? I think the first season's like a masterpiece.
Yeah,
I truly do, and especially the first episode, like when it's kind of catching you up with where Johnny's at in life and all those guys. Like I love that first season, but it very much turned into a teenage soap opera, and
in later
seasons, and which I mean I get it. Like now, I mean I understand that because that's what this was. But I wanted to know. I just wanted Johnny and Daniel.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I felt like the show was made for, was the people that grew up on them.
Yeah.
And so they kind of changed, they kind of shifted it a little bit to where, and like this person would be grouped up on Daniel's side and they'd flip and all that. And it got too confusing.
Yeah.
Where I couldn't remember who was mad at who and all that kind of stuff.
I did like how they brought people from the other movies, the second and third, into even I think the next Karate Kid there was a couple of characters. But I liked that.
Yeah.
But the first season felt like it was geared towards us who grew up with the Karate Kid.
Yes.
The later season was something else.
Yes.
It was trying to appeal to a new, younger audience, I suppose.
And when I was done was the hockey. When they went to the hockey game and they got in the karate fight.
Yeah.
It was like, how many places can you go?
Yeah.
and get into a karate fight. But your bleach blonde guy, he would be the guy that would get into a karate. That's why I agree with you.
Yeah.
He would be my least guy I'd want a road trip with,
Yeah.
because he'd be the one we stop at a gas station. Like, hey, man, how much gas do we need? Next thing I know, he's over there with somebody.
And it's funny now because Johnny was the arch enemy of my whole 80s. Anything I saw him in, I viewed him as the bad guy. But once that first season came out, and I'm an adult now, I could sympathize with him. Because you see that. You see people we went to school with who were bullies living like that. So it's just sympathetic. And so I ended up liking Johnny over Daniel with the Cobra Kai series.
And, like if you don't just take this movie as the movie, and you know what you know about Johnny after seeing Cobra Kai, it does change the way you view him.
It absolutely does.
And, you learn, like, why he became the way he became and those kind of things. And Kreese was just awful to him. Kreese was awful in general. Yeah. But going to another competition. So we agree blonde steroid guy is the last guy that we want to go with.
For sure.
So I don't know if you noticed the music in this movie.
I was going to bring that up if it came up. I loved the soundtrack.
Phenomenal.
And it was typical 80s teenage type movie. They were all amazing soundtrack.
Every needle drop hits. Like every single one of them. But one thing I noticed, and you may notice this on the next one, or like the next time you watch it, is every song like perfectly fits the story and the scene of where they're at. So I narrowed it down to a few in competition, like which song, if you had to pick, like, okay, which song would I want from this movie? So there's the beach bop scene, like it's literally when they're on the beach, which sounds like a Beach Boys band. It's not the Beach Boys, but it definitely sounds like a Beach Boys band. Cruel Summer was actually not on the soundtrack. Like when I listened to the soundtrack this week, but it's so good in that scene.
It is.
So Cruel Summer by, I think, Bananarama.
Bananarama, yeah.
Let's see. Can You Feel the Night or Feel the Night? Which is when they're on the first date.
Yeah, that's one that strikes me.
Yeah, and it goes within the scene so perfectly. Yeah. And then Young Hearts when they make up, like when he pulls back up.
Yeah.
And then the quintessential "You're the Best." When it starts playing during the tournament. So if you had to pick, like, and we can do it however you want to do it, whichever scene fits or whichever song fits the scene best, or whatever your favorite song is, whichever one you want to do.
Well, I like "Cruel Summer." That's probably my favorite song on the soundtrack. But like you say, everything lines up so perfectly. They're just all good. But the scene where they're on their first date, what song was that?
Feel the Night. Oh, it's either "Can You Feel the Night" or "Feel the Night."
That's the most memorable to me because I remember watching. Even now, I can watch that. She's like, "Oh, that's just like."
Yeah, it's definitely one of those that, like, this is a movie, and I'm glad you mentioned that. This is a movie that makes you feel young again while you're watching it.
It does.
Like there's movies that I will watch and they make me feel like being a kid again, and they're fun to revisit. And that's why this is one of those movies that when I watch it, I don't feel like I'm watching, like, I don't feel like I'm an adult watching Daniel as a kid, because I always looked up to Daniel.
It still feel like a kid watching it.
Yes.
It's that and The Sandlot. Those are two probably that do that for me.
Big time. And that's, gosh, I mean, that's a tough competition. So you went with Feel the Night on their first date.
It's not my favorite song on the soundtrack, but I think it's my favorite, or the most memorable.
Sure. For me, it's You're the Best. Just because, I mean, like, because I remember you and I singing that and stuff, like messing around, but like when we would just like be passing baseball or whatever. So I think You're the Best I don't know. Cruel Summer's so good too.
It is.
And Cruel Summer, like what it does in that scene, like the music and all that stuff, and like Daniel's first getting to school, he's getting tripped in soccer, and he's getting kind of picked on right there, and like just imagining like what someone new in a school would feel. The Cruel Summer kind of I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with Cruel Summer, and also it's got that Bengals sounding, the girls do in that song. So I don't know. So I'm going with Cruel Summer. Even though if I needed to listen to one to pump me up, I'm going to listen to You're the Best all day long. Let's see. Best quote.
You're the Best is probably the most iconic, I think. For sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Outside of the Karate Kid, I'm not going to, I'm not going to jam to it in the truck.
You're lying.
Maybe. maybe after a good bowling game, golf, I'll play it on the way home.
That's funny. So best quote, and there's a lot of good ones, a lot of good ones. So there's obviously wax on, wax off, strike first, strike hard, no mercy, sweep the leg, or man who catch fly with chopsticks, accomplish anything.
Not going to talk about the body bag.
Well, what is it?
Body bag, where he screamed, "Put him in a body bag."
I forget. See that, and that's why. So do you have any others other than that?
No.
Obviously the body bag.
Yeah, I didn't think that one just while you were talking about came up to me, but no, I didn't even think to.
Man, okay, so I have to go. So out of those though, or so you've got the body bag one, wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax off.
That's yours.
Yeah.
See, I am a sweep the leg. Like, I think because of watching so many Braves games, and Frank Core will constantly say, like, in the game, like, sweep the leg, sweep the leg, you know?
Yeah.
And so that one has become the one for me. Now, if you ask me, like, what's the most iconic line from it's wax on, wax off.
Well, I mean, that's for me, it defines the movie.
If you buy a T-shirt of Karate Kid, you want it to say, like, if I bought a coffee mug that was Karate Kid, it better say wax on, wax off. Yeah. So it's the iconic quote, but my favorite quote is sweep the leg. I don't know if that makes sense. So one last thing, or there's two more competitions. Favorite scene. And so this can be like, what is your favorite scene from the movie? I mean, obviously there's, Allie and Daniel's first date, like we talked about with the song there. There's when he first gets to the school, as far as the cruel summer, and not just connected to music, but just kind of explaining where they're at. So there's the cruel summer scene when he's getting picked on and all that stuff. But what are some of your favorite scenes in the movie?
Probably the one that'll always stick, no matter who watches it, would be the crane kick scene. For sure.
It's the best scene.
Illegal. Yeah.
Not illegal. I looked it up.
Yeah. Not illegal.
Not illegal.
Not illegal.
Not illegal.
Okay. And then, but probably the best scene would be the drunken Mr. Miyagi. That was just that put a depth to the movie that it took it from being just a campy, fun teenage movie to something more serious.
Yeah, Oscar-worthy scene, especially watching it as an adult. Oscar-worthy scene is Miyagi's, explaining his past scene.
Yeah.
But favorite scene to just watch over and over again is the tournament itself. And so that, for me, that wins. I mean, there's a lot of good scenes in this movie. The chopstick scene's awesome.
Yeah.
And knowing what you know later, the wax on, wax off, and all the
sand in the deck was good too.
It was.
I just think that's when Daniel got fed up with doing the chores, and then he
blames him.
He realized that Miyagi was teaching him.
Yes, and it was such a cool scene, and such a disciplinary scene too.
Yeah.
Like, and really, when you think about it, Daniel did a lot of chores before Miyagi let him know.
Paint the fence, wax on, wax off the deck. It was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, so he did a lot of before he actually let him know, like, oh, you're actually training for something here.
Sweep the floor.
Yeah. All right, so the last category. And so with most of the movies, I like to do a Mount Rushmore, which is like the top 4 in anything. And a lot of times I like to do, like when I did Bourne Identity, I did the Matt Damon Mount Rushmore. Like, what would be his 4 movies that you would carve on his mountain, So... Not going to do that for any of the actors here. I was
going to say, couldn't name 4 other movies.
Well, yeah, and really, if you did an actor here, you'd almost have to do Elizabeth Shue, because she's the one that has the best filmography. But so I went a little different route on this, though.
Okay.
Best trainer in a movie. And this is a loaded category.
Yeah, it is.
It is. So obviously, you've got Mr. Miyagi. And these aren't necessarily the 4. I'm just saying, like, here's some really good movie trainers. Mr. Miyagi, got Yoda, which I know you're not a Star Wars guy, but you know what Yoda did. Mick from the first Rocky movies, his trainer.
For sure.
So Mick's up there, and then staying with the Rocky theme, Rocky.
Yeah,
because in the Creed movies, he becomes an awesome trainer. He was in the first 2 Creed movies, and then Chubbs. Going back to Happy Gilmore for a second. Chubbs from Happy Gilmore. I had Morpheus on the list.
Morpheus would be a favorite.
Yes.
Bill from the Kill Bill series. I mean, he put an army of assassins
he did.
that pretty much couldn't be stopped.
Yeah, he did. I've got Patches O'Houlihan from Dodgeball.
Yeah.
And that was more of a coach.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And then 2 Ben Stillers in a row. So I've got 2 Ben Stillers, Tony Perkis from Heavyweights, and then White Goodman. In Dodgeball. Yeah. So kind of narrowing down from all of those guys, who would be your top 4 that would be, okay, if I had to pick trainers in a movie, doesn't necessarily mean like these are the guys that would get me motivated, but just my 4 favorite trainers in a movie.
Well, I would pick Miyagi just because of that's what we're covering.
Me too. And not just because of what we're covering. Like, I truly would pick Miyagi.
And also, you're right. But also, Master Splinter.
Oh,
my favorite. He would be my top because I'm a Ninja Turtle nerd.
Okay. So you've got Miyagi and Splinter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't know. That's a tough one.
It's tough.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's tough. So I would have to go, like for me, I'm going to go Miyagi. I'm going to go Yoda. I am going to go Rocky from the Creed movies, not from his own movie, you know. Right. But because I mean, that
Mick's got to be Mick from Rocky has to be for me.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's hard. I mean, that's tough competition.
That's a tough one.
And the only reason why I hesitate to put Miyagi and Yoda in there is they feel like the same character. Like they really do.
But those trainers are martial art. I mean, if we're talking about mentors, trainers, it's martial art movies.
So I'm going Miyagi. I'm going Yoda. I'm going Rocky in the Creed movies. Just because, I mean, Sylvester Stallone in those Creed movies, especially the first Creed, that was some of his best acting he's ever done. Like it was really good.
One just hit me while we were talking. It's kind of sticking with mixed martial arts would be Nick Nolte's character in Tom Hardy. What is that?
Warrior.
Yeah, Warrior.
Yeah, that's
that's got to be one of my tops
that's
because
he was
the
movie.
Drunken dad that was several years sober that fell off. I mean, that acting performance is probably one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis is my favorite actor, but Nick Nolte's performance in that, it's weird saying Nick Nolte being one of the best action scenes. But
Nick Nolte has a bad rap now, but the guy is an awesome actor.
He is.
Like especially back when you go back to his day, like in the 80s and that movie came out, I think in like 2010 or 11, maybe even a little bit later than that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but either way, I mean, he's incredible. Like Blue Chips is awesome. I love that movie. And I mean, he has this weird thing where I'm sure they have to put like a big microphone on him.
Yeah.
Because he like whispers everything, you know, what's
it's just that scene particular. I mean, it's so full of emotions because he's with his estranged son that hates him, but his estranged son is using him, and he's using him because he's able to use him because he is in recovery and he knows that he can press buttons. It's almost like he's wanting to see his dad fail.
No.
And when his dad fails, it breaks his heart, and that's the first humility we see in the movie from him. But Nick Nolte's performance as the drunken, abusive type dad coming out there, it's all time. It's probably my favorite acted scene.
And I don't remember if he got nominated for anything for that.
I'm not sure. He should have.
I'll have to look back. Yeah, because like it's right up there. Because my favorite acting scene ever. Like if you ask me what is your favorite, I don't know if favorite's the right word, but what do I feel like is the best acting I've ever seen in a movie? It was when Forrest Gump found out he had a kid.
Yeah, that was good.
Like in the emotion that he showed on his face when he was asking, "Is he?" And then Jenny says, you know, like he's one of the smartest in his class.
Yeah.
The looks that Tom Hanks gives.
Yeah.
And that one almost gave me teary eyed talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, and like I didn't think as much about it before I had kids.
Because Forrest knew he was different than everybody else.
Yes.
But he didn't let that hinder him in any way.
Obviously not at all. And that's another one, you know, we talked about how Back to the Future is on that echelon of Forrest Gump is up there as far as you'll know we've got it down when we hit, which are both Robert Zemeckis movies, same director.
Is it?
For both those, yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, so like when you talk about ultimate acting moments, like that Nick Nolte moment goes right up there with, and that's how good of an actor Nick Nolte is. Like and gets forgotten about.
Underrated because of his
stuff. Yeah, his stuff, which is a shame because the guy's incredible. So you've got Miyagi in your list. You've got Mick from Rocky.
Master Splinter.
And Master Splinter.
Yeah.
And whatever Nick Nolte's character is in Warrior. Okay. So those are your 4. That's your Mount Rushmore of trainers. I'm going to go Miyagi, Yoda, Rocky. I guess I'm going to go Mick.
Okay, yeah.
And Mick's incredible. Burgess Meredith was I mean, I love Burgess Meredith when he played the Penguin in the old Batman series.
And Grumpy.
He's so good in those. I just rewatched those a while back. He's the best part. And you kids, he's talking like 70-year-olds. But yeah, he's so good in that. So anything else that we have not covered about Karate Kid that you feel like, oh man, we have to add this? Like, we didn't talk about this, we've got to talk about it.
Well, I mean, I think we covered. I think we covered everything. I'm sure. I mean, if we sat here and thought about it, we could go on forever.
We could. Probably the main thing, I will have to relook up that crane kick thing and see if it's, because when I read it about it yesterday, it is a legal kick. It was starting, I think, in the 3rd movie that they made a rule, no hits to the face or something like that. But it was a kick to the face, which I think was a little bit different. So, but I need to be fact checked on that. Like I feel like I'm talking out of turn right now, but I'm 90% sure that it was legal. Just that it was kind of in that shady area at the same time. So Daniel won with a legal kick, and I think in Cobra Kai he even references at some point like, yeah, you kind of leaned into it.
Yeah.
And if you go back and watch it, Johnny does kind of lean down into the kick, which is obviously they were planning that because he needed to get kicked. And that was always an interesting moment to me too. Like when the Cobra Kai guy before that hit Daniel in the ribs or whatever it was. I'm sorry, Daniel. I'm sorry, and like I'm like, were you really sorry? And then like when he earns their respect, that was the whole point of the movie. When we go back to like the Miyagi lessons, I was trying to look those back up. Like what Daniel learned and how he changed from like all he cared about was winning the tournament. Like, can I win? Can I win? Can I win? And Miyagi didn't care if he could win the tournament. Yeah. He cared about how he showed up for the tournament, which, again, if we do that for how we treat our everyday lives, we can all become better people.
Yeah, that's true. And we didn't talk enough probably about John Kreese. I mean, he was a major character in the movie that didn't get we didn't speak too much about.
We actually didn't talk about him at all, I don't think.
No.
I think his military photo was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was good.
He kind of has this like diva stance with it. Like he's kind of.
But could you imagine anybody else playing that part for that time period?
He did great.
And even in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert again. But he's perfect for the part. It's like that part he was born for. And I mean, he didn't do a whole lot more outside of Karate Kid. I mean,
not that I know of.
He did, but nothing to that level. But he was perfect for the part.
And he brought us Terry Silver.
Yeah. Terry Silver.
That's
a whole, I would love to talk that, but that's for another movie.
That is for because he didn't show up in this. So that's for another one. We'll have to revisit that when we do Karate Kid 3. But any final thoughts that we missed or anything like that?
No, I would just recommend getting everybody getting out there and watching that again because as an adult, you see things different. As a kid, you wanted to be Daniel and you wanted to fight the bullies, and then as an adult with kids, you sit here and think, well, who was the bully?
Yeah,
you really do. It makes you ponder things like that. So, I mean, any movie that you grew up with that you haven't revisited in a long time, rewatch it as an adult just to see how your worldview has changed. And that goes with any of the older movies.
Well, and one of the things I like about this is I mean, there was one scene when Daniel was finally fed up where he dropped a couple of GDs, which I did not appreciate, obviously. But you can, we've talked about VidAngel before. This is a movie that is available on VidAngel, so you could edit that out. Like, and this all of a sudden becomes a movie that's easily to watch with your kids.
Yeah. And
to watch with with a 5-year-old. Yeah. Just edit. I mean, for me personally, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. But you could edit that stuff out. And that way, if you didn't want your kids to hear, blasphemy or anything like that, you could watch it with your kids and feel safe. Like, well, maybe you don't want them to fight this way, but, other than that. But again, there's a lot of good life lessons. But I think we've covered it. I think we've done a good deep dive on Daniel-san and the Karate Kid. So thank you for listening if you made it this far. And if you have any recommendations, any competitions you think we should be covering, you can email me. You'll love this email address. You can email me at themoviepick@aol.com. Since we're covering classics, I created an AOL address. So you can email me at themoviepick@aol.com. Josh, thank you for preparing this with me.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it very much. And listeners, thank you for listening. This is Dave with my co-host today, Josh.
See ya.